Satnam, everyone. This is just a little sharing on the numbers which are appearing in the year of 2021. So let's have a little look at what that's going to bring. It's not really a prophecy of any kind, prediction or something like that. It's simply these numbers are evident. They'll be written many, many times over through the year, and it'll be in our people's minds. It's 2021. So that does bring about a vibration, a frequency. Numbers are everywhere and everything, and they impact our lives, whether we know it or not, like it or not. It's anyway the case. So let's just see. We'll look at what the numbers are coming up and what themes those numbers bring into our world. And each of you, of course, can make your own personal relationship to that and make your own meaning out of that. So it's just a light sharing. Okay, little diagram just to help out, get things started. When we will write somebody's birth chart or birthday, this is how we would do it. And it kind of corresponds nicely to the idea of one's profile, not profile, portrait. There we go. So what do? We put the year 21 here and call that the first quadrant, and in the fourth quadrant down here, 2021. And so what will be highlighted is, of course, the 1 of 21. That's the most obvious thing which is changing. And 2 plus 1 is going to equal 3. So that's also a change from 20 to 21, giving us a 3. And then adding all the digits together of 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1, and that will equal number 5. So the numbers that we especially will be exploring, the total number of 5, the 3 from 21, and the 1 in the 1. Okay. And it's a kind of development. We're going to say that this first quadrant, where we have the 21, is the essence or the essential, the latent potential of the year, because that's where the shift actually happens or is initiated by that unit, in this case, number 1. And then it unfolds into the bigger picture and the collective psyche of the totality of 2021. So it's a kind of development, you could say, from 1 through the 3 and into the 5, the total number there. Okay, let's leave that there for now, and we'll see what we will talk about. I have my little notes in front of me to keep me on track in this conversation. So the number 5, that's where we'll start. It's the overarching number of the year, number 5. 5 is paradox, inversion, transformation, change, communication. Number 5, the 5th chakra, so connections and exchange through word. 5 is a bridge, so it's a threshold between the lower numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and the higher numbers 6, 7, 8, 9. The lower numbers tend to be thought of as more personal, and the higher numbers more impersonal. So it's a bridge between the personal and the impersonal experience of life. In the 10 spiritual bodies, it's the physical body of our 5 senses, 5 elements, or 5 tattvas, 5 pranas flowing, energetic in the body. It's actually the physical body as a spiritual body. So it's very much a question of experience that we have through the physical body. And can we experience our spirit through the physical body? Okay, we'll go in a little bit more detail about that. But 5 is also the number of learning, being a student, you could say, partly based on the fact that our experience is a teacher to us. And what is it teaching us? And 5 is also identity. Who am I? We might put it like that. Number 1 is the idea of the soul. What am I? I am a soul. I am a spirit having a human experience. And then number 2, which we call the negative mind, how am I? How am I today? How's my vital energy day by day? How am I? 3 is three-dimensional, and this is linked to why. Why am I? Why do I do what I do? This in the action of life, number 3. 4 is when am I? That's linked to the moment, now, being in the present, being in touch with your to really feel in your heart, when am I? And when am I real? When am I in my satana, my true identity? And that takes us to number 5, Nam, identity, my name. Not just like a label, but in the actual sense, real sense of who I am. And finally, the virtue of number 5 is also sacrifice. So we will have a few words to say about sacrifice. In a plant, we talk about 5 stages of a plant, from the seed to the roots, to the branches, to the flower, and to the fruit. So the idea of harvest and fruit also connects here. So let's put a little emphasis on learning, but not just learning about the life around us, learning knowledge from a book, studying in various ways, but actually learning about self. So this would be a good focus for the year, to look at your experience of self, your sense of self, and learn about yourself. Ask questions about yourself. We say every moment is a learning opportunity. Your whole body is a learning equipment in a way. But how to apply that, how to relate to that, is very important also to realize this is linked to sacrifice. The body I had, I no longer had. The body I will have tomorrow is yet to come. Every day, the body is going through a kind of transformation, losing the body I had to know the body I have yet to have. So actually always in transition. If we would pay attention to that, that would be the case. I think of the flower also having 3 different stages. The bud, which is number 4, and then the opening of that bud, coming out of its enclosed condition, and then moving into the full blossoming of the flower. So 3 stages. So 2020 has been an interesting year for the bud stage. So the whole idea of people having to stay home into lockdown, and let it not be just be home in your house, but actually home in your heart, number 4. So it's been very much a year of inner gathering, of exploring your nucleus of yourself inside of you. And who knows how far you got with that, but I do pray that you made a lot of progress working out any challenges of isolation or quarantines or less contact with others, finding your individuality inside of you, which is linked to number 1, by the way, which is coming up with 2021. And the finding that singularity of self is actually the foundation for solidarity with others. You need to find your singular soul to feel that solidarity. If you know the one in you, you know the one in everyone, we say. So 4 has been an interesting year. 2020 adds up to 4. And this has been the bud of that. Now we're moving into this sacrificial transition, getting out of this singularity, but not yet into the full opening. That would be 2022, which is adding up to 6. But this is a time anyway of peeling away of some of the containing forces or containing constructs and feeling this transition into opening. No rush. It's better to take these things slow and steady, but it's something to move into. And maybe there are other areas of your life. We're not only talking about the social circumstances that year of 2020 has put a lot of people into, but actually just in your own life, what has been latent in you and is feeling the need for opening and finding expression. Okay, so that threshold when you're neither inside nor outside, but on the doorway, this is an interesting metaphor, you could say, for the year to come. 5 is also a number of balance, harmony, as it is in the middle of that personal and impersonal qualities, and also the 2, 3, and 4. These are more internal, not only personal, but internal to the body. My feeling of separation, my digestion, my hunger, my fire, and my contact, my inner feelings. So these are negative, positive, and neutral mind, they're called in yogic terms, internal qualities. And the 5, the physical body, the nervous system, like this threshold between inside and outside. 6 is your arc line, 7 is your magnetic field, 8 is your link into the ocean of prana, vital energy all around us, and 9 we call subtle body, the unborn Ajuni. It is, we're born from the subtle body. It doesn't take birth, so it's out there in what you might call the akasha or the matrix kind of domain. So 5 is this bridge between this inner and outer, personal, impersonal, and finding the balance then between my inner life, my self-care of my physical body, diet, exercise, rest, sexual energy, balancing all of that, and my engagement in the world around me, into the time and space, socially, physically, energetically, different ways. So finding this balance, in most cases, we only find this balance by swinging between extremes. Too much this, too much that, too much food, not enough rest, all the wrong kind of things. And so this would be a good year not just to be getting into any kind of oscillations and yo-yo, but looking for when and where you cross the line, getting to know where that line of balance is. It's not that we should be rigidly not having any oscillation, but there's a healthy version and unhealthy version, we could say. So looking at, as life goes on and the physical body ages, actually you do need a more narrow balance. Your physical ability to withstand extremes of the body are diminished with age. And wisdom says try to be ahead of the time. Don't only learn through, now I'm ill, now I have that problem, now this happened, but rather work towards finding that balance and knowing where that middle ground is and knowing where the limits are. This is a good year to be exploring that, no matter what age you have. Talking again about the balance and this middle ground of the 5, I'm going to share with you another image for that. So clear that out of the way. It'll be a little bit of a rough drawing, but you will find it helpful in different ways. Okay, a little bit of an alien there, but we know what we're dealing with. Hope so, he's happy. And there we go. And now we'll place some numbers here. 1, 2, 3, which are very personal, individualized numbers. 7, 8, and 9, the more very impersonal, numbers, and the bridge between the impersonal and impersonal there, 4, 5, and 6. Now, in every case, you'll see 1 and 9 adds up to 10, and 5 is in the middle. 2 and 8 add up to 10, 5 is in the middle. 3 and 7 also add up to 10 with 5 in the center, and of course also 4 and 6. So what's happening is the 5 in the center. This is just something to meditate on, and you can redraw this diagram and put your own reflections on it. But to see there's focus, number 1, convergence, individualizing, and number 9 implies dispersion and the many rather than one. And so 5 is that shift between convergence and divergence. 1 and 9 is a very vertical positioning inside of ourselves. And 1 is humility, so being small. And number 9 is a sense of dignity. And so that's an interesting transition and moving between humble and a sense of integrity and elevation in the life and dignity. What about 2 and 8? 2 is where we are hungry, endlessly hungry, needing. And number 8 is the symbol of infinity. So this shift between abundance, flourishing, of compassion and vitality, and number 2, low energy, need to take care of yourself, need food, need water, and so on. So this shift between full and empty, needing, and abundance. 5 being the balance between the 2 and the threshold. What about 3 and 7, the positive mind for action in the world? Number 7, so this is doing, and this is thinking. Number 7 is where we sit like a little observer, looking out at the world around us. So moving between seeing and being seen, taking action, making yourself visible in the world. Very important this year because 21 is 3, which is action. And expressing yourself and sometimes stepping back and being the witness to others expressing themselves. This is linked to the element fire, number 3. And so fire is creative and destructive. So what am I creating? What am I destroying? And moving again across the threshold between these two things. What about 4 and 6 and 5 in the middle of that? So 4, that bud energy, that closing or receiving, the cup of the heart, receiving, and 6 being a presence, having impact, and the opening and the giving. So this is the threshold moving between closing, opening, receiving, and giving in the 4 and the 6. In every case, number 5 is the switch. This is very, very important. Okay, so for this, I'm going to briefly show another diagram. Okay, what happened there? Let's take that away. Have another go at that. There we go. This is the pentangle, which many of you will be familiar with. And what's interesting is when you cross the center, what do you get? You get another pentangle, but it is inverted. So the 5 is this point where things turn inside out, back to front, and upside down, you could say. So this is the switch. Your own physical body, being the 5th spiritual body, is where the switch happens. How I manage this physical body and also my word. So 5 is communication, the 5th chakra. So the word that I use also can switch things from one thing to the opposite. It doesn't take a lot of words. So let's talk a little more about communication now. 5 is a boomerang in a way. Yeah, every word we speak will come round and echo back upon you. Okay, so Guru Nanak says something very interesting. Yeah? Speak that which brings you honor. And Sheikh Farid, he's also said something very interesting. Before we talk about anybody else, look under your own collar. Very powerful expression, really. the fact that is right there. Look under your own collar. Look from here inward. What's going on in me? What is my shadows, my struggles, my attachments, my fears, my doubts? These are things that they come out in our communication. They impact the way we talk about other people. When we feel insecure, we try to get, let's say, like some surety by, I know something about somebody. I can talk about that person. He did wrong. He did this. He did that. So this is a way that we don't look at ourselves. So 5, this inversion. Am I talking about others? Am I talking about me? If I'm talking about me, where am I talking from? From this one who's looking to see if you're looking to see, this is a very egoistic talking. Or am I really talking from my heart? Or am I talking from all the emotional patterns and reactions that are coming up from? It's very challenging. We don't know really what is an authentic feeling and what is an emotionally colored feeling. So this is a challenge this year, really. If 2020 got you in touch with your inner being of the number 4, then this year is a good year to start communicating from that place. And we could talk about like speak the truth, but who knows the truth? Or are we saying speak truthfully? This is more, it's not, we speak every day, speech is okay, but then we are challenged. Yeah, what's really going on? Who knows really who's doing what, where? Who knows the truth? We hear rumors. We talk about each other from rumors, from gossip. But do we know the truth? A lot of reports about what's really going on in the world right now, who's doing what, where, what's the motivations, what's the purpose. But actually, who knows the truth? So this is, especially also with the 1 coming in with 21, I need to stand in my own position. I need to speak. And I don't mean like my truth in some kind of philosophical way, or my truth with all its history, coloring and distorting, just my truthfulness of self. This is what I would like to point to. Yeah. And our life is an example also. Our life is a communication. Everything we do, how we live, how we dress, whatever we were living is a communication. Okay. Now, thing that I would really like to invite people to work with a lot, and I use a title that I'm referring to. This document will be available on Facebook or somewhere online in the next days. Anyway, the theme I've kind of focused on there is build bridges, not walls. What's been happening in this last year with a lot of polarization and again, extremes coming up as well. Building walls between people, and I mean emotional walls, psychological walls. What about building bridges? What about opening doors? What about making windows? What about finding some way to connect and communicate and hear each other and make sure you're clear about what it is you want to say? And this is linked to sacrifice. 5, the virtue 5 is sacrifice. So what do we sacrifice when we build a wall? And what do we sacrifice when we build a bridge? Please do reflect upon that this year. It's not that we need to tear walls down, they're falling anyway. We don't need to do anything about that. And it's not a very efficient use of energy. We don't need to be, some walls, you take them down, but the forces behind them are able to reproduce them very quickly. So dealing with walls is not the focus. Rather, build bridges. This is the effort that needs to be made. It's an efficient use of the effort. So that means conscious communication. People need to get together. We need to hear each other. We need to hear what people's struggles are, what their pains are, what their problems are, and we need to share solutions with each other. And 5 is a very natural number. So this is also being in the nature, relating to the elements, and meeting. You don't want to meet inside, meet outside, but meeting in the park, meeting and connecting with people. So what's been happening here? People are swinging. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about politicians, priests, teachers, climate change, virus, anything else. People are saying it's all real. It's true. They're just totally embracing it. There's no doubt. Totally going with them. Some mainstream way of thinking, or running to the other extreme: rejection, denial, suspicious of anybody who says there might be something, believing in the government, believe the science, believe the reports, or accuse it all of being lies and some world order control trying to happen. It's all manipulation. Individuals that are in the media praising and adoring them as the new messiah, anything like that, or demonizing them and generating fear around these people. So these are examples of the polarizations that are going on. Number one is to take a position, but I'm not implying take a position like take sides. One side or another. What's your position? Do you believe that or you don't believe that? Are you with them or are you with them? This has to stop. This is a duality, a mental projected duality, a construct of the collective mind, and we will never wake up out of it. Well, all this does is just generate more conflict, more war, more pain, more suffering. We have been working with number 4, 2020. That was to build in you the capacity to hold everything in your heart. All the pain, all the love, all the struggles, all the good news, all the bad news, all the shocking news, whatever it may be, can you build strength in your heart to hold, because it's one world and nothing and nobody is excluded from that. This has the work of number 4, is to do that. And therefore it means to hold paradox, not to take one side, another side, not to reject, not to create this black and white, but actually, that, and also that, and to hold all of that. This is the challenge. And 5 is a number of paradox. So now we come really into the middle of it. We're talking not about, anyway, just things out there in the media or that individual or that particular politician or teacher or anybody. Actually, we're talking about each one of ourselves. This is the challenge to each one of us. In the same sentence, somebody may tell a lie, they may tell the truth. And the same day may pass and you had a cruel thought about somebody and a nice thought about somebody. We are living contradictions, living paradoxes, and it's no good feeling shame or guilt or trying to hide or pretend that you don't have it, because you have it. So we've got to learn an incredible level of compassion to be able to just hold all of this and really face it. It's not, it's like there's a battle out there in society, in the media, for people's minds, for people's, what I call, we say the positive mind, right? In spiritual teaching, that you have this positive mind, and it's affirming. That's all it does, it affirms. Well, this is number 3 we're talking about now. 21 is 3. Whatever it grabs, it will affirm. And we are losing the ability to take care of what we affirm in ourselves. This whole system of algorithms you heard about. You go online, you do some search, you read this or you read that. What happened is the technology of the technocratic world simply takes over your positive mind and says, hey, let me affirm that. Let me show you more of that. Let me get more advertisements about that. Let me limit your searches to that area that you've been looking at before, and this kind of thing. So it's kind of doing your positive affirmation for you. And basically, we are losing control over our own capacity of affirmation. This is a very important issue. It's going to continue. It's going to become ever more pervasive. 21 is 3. 1 is your individual self. 3 is the affirmation of that. Stand in your own shoes. Stand in your own position. Stand as you. Not where do I stand? Where do I stand? Do I stand with him or her, them or them? This is the big challenge of this year. and an opportunity, because it's all going to be coming at you more and more in your face. And if you're not going along with the dominant culture, this dominant culture or that dominant culture, whatever trend or whoever your little group is, and you're not going with it, you're ostracized, you're demonized, people talk about you on some private Facebook chat and whatever, all kind of things. And you don't need to care about any of that. Anybody's opinion about you, that's the last concern. But the biggest karmic force of number 3 is the affirmation. I want the others to affirm me. If I'm with them, they will tell me I'm okay. If I speak as they speak, if I watch what they watch, if I post the same kind of things they're posting. Oh, it's a trendy now to post that on my social media. And then I'm affirmed. It's quite sad. And we need to learn to cut that out. I affirm me no matter what. And I do not wait on some affirmation from anything or anyone around me, through the media, through the eyes of anybody. That is a challenge. You have to be very strong inside, very stable inside, and you only develop that by practice. It doesn't come from anywhere. You can't buy it in a shop. No program that you're going to pay a lot of money for is going to give it to you. You have to train you to stand steady and strong in your own being. And that's the work. Of course, you can practice yoga and lifestyle and meditation, and you can read certain texts that will help you to do that. But you are the one who has to do the work. And that's the point. Okay. Now, see, not taking sides doesn't mean bypassing. There's a lot of talk about bypass, and I understand it, and it's a very serious issue that people do. They bypass the heart, and that means they bypass into spiritual intellectualism, or they bypass down into indulging in their old story and being the victim and drowning. It's kind of in both cases, it's a bypass. But it's time to bypass drama. Time to bypass social pressure, bypass the influence of the media, and all the clever arguments and conflict opinions. You see, that's a different kind of bypass. Bypass all that nonsense and stand as you stand in your shoes. This is important training because storm is coming. As we said, polarizations lead to more and more conflict, more and more. Each side has to use stronger ammunition to hold their position and state their case and can prove that the other is the enemy. So if this goes on, it's not going to get more pleasant. And you have to be strong to stand in your own center, number 5, center, number 1, stand individually as you and develop this strength, because ground is going to shake, things are going to shake up. Okay, nervous system is where we shake. And number 6, the year after that, is linked to fear or fearlessness. It is the storm year. But it starts shaking already now. It already happens. Physical body. We have a term in the Mul which some of you might recognize, written up here. Kata, Purak. Kata, the action, the doer, the doing, and Purak, the being. It's a very interesting expression. It's a paradox. It's a marriage between doing and being in our life. And the being of spirit, Purak or Purusha, is present in Kata, in all that we do, and all the manifestation that I do with this physical body, spirit, it's just like a puppet, really. And the Purusha is the puppeteer, the spirit moving in everything I do, everything I say, every thought that I have. Okay, so this is the Karta Puraka, number 5. I want to explore a little bit more sacrifice. Time of harvest, which is like in the four seasons. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. There we go. And 1 is winter season, earth element. 2 is the spring season, element of water. 3, the summer, the fire. And then 4 is the air and the wind blowing and stripping the trees down. And it's like autumn season. But 5 is interesting because it's actually present right in the center of everything. And particularly the harvest season of any plant. You know, some plants, they have harvest in springtime, some plants, you harvest the fruit in the summer, others in the autumn. So harvest can come at any time, but the harvest stage of any plant, that is number 5. Okay, now, what are we saying about the harvest? Harvest is a kind of sacrifice, isn't it? Yeah, the tree finally drops the fruit. And I want to link this to the 5, the number 5, and the stories that go through history where people have made sacrifice and given their head, whether that's Christian saints, Sikh gurus, the others in the history who have this execution of the head because they maintained their faith. They would not give up their faith. Rather than sacrifice their faith, they would sacrifice their head. So what does it mean to give your head? Okay, this is where all the senses are predominantly happening. So exteriorization, smelling, tasting, looking, feeling, hearing. And so that's, remember, inversion, number 5, turning inwards. That's one thing it means. Other is head is where we think. And unfortunately, our thinking again being caught into the mental, I call it the mind field, the Maya field, the magnetic field of the collective psyche, and doing my thinking for me has been since I was born, but it's now ever stronger through the impact of social media. So putting that down, laying that down, all that exteriorization, and coming back to self, opening up here. Remember, look under your own collar. Okay. Taking back control of my senses also means that the consumer industry, you know, even you go in a shopping mall, you may not know it, but there's a fragrance in the air, there's music in the air. Everything is set up to pull you out of yourself. Convex mirror, I refer to it, Maya, as a convex mirror. And so what is a challenge to turn all that around and hold on to yourself. It's an interesting test. Walk out into the biggest shopping mall you have access to and go through the whole thing from one end to the other, all the 3, 4, 5 levels, whatever it is, into the entrance of the cinema and back out, walk into the couple of shops and back out, and hold on to just your nadi, your navel, your breathing, and any mantra, any holy word from whatever religion you have, and just hold to that. 31 minutes, 62 minutes, as you like. See what happens. Go in, walk through the whole thing, and walk out again. And assess your experience. And contrast that to going in and just totally open, relaxed, belly relaxed, and just look at everything, feel everything, smell everything, engage in everything, look at the people, look, and see how after 1 hour, how exhausted you feel and possibly confused along with it. It's an interesting experiment, but then you will understand what I mean. Move your head, stop all that exterior, hold on to yourself. Take back the command of your own sense organs. Okay, enough about that. Mm-hmm. So briefly, 21 is 3. We've already touched on it a little bit. It's about action and 3-dimensional world or space that we live in. element is fire, and there's the positive mind and the virtue of equality. And the one within that is the individual. So, three different ways to read about equality. First is self, including yourself, put you in the picture. Yeah, respect for yourself. Only with respect for self can you have respect for others. Yeah. Second, take all events, all experiences, all of everything having, not having, and consider it as equal value. We are creature created by the Creator, and the Creator is at work equally in everything that is happening. Not more here, more or less. There's no more God in a formal place of worship than in a forest or sitting on a park bench with an old beggar that's equally present everywhere. So learning to see that, take everything as equal. Everything you experience, every win and loss in the life, every slander or praise that comes to you, every success or failure that comes to you, and consider it all as equal value. Nothing more, nothing less, just equal value. And the third, it means there's no enemy, no friend. All world is friend. You are the friend of all is your friend. The third, that links to the third, equality is about seeing everyone equal in the eyes of God. No matter their title, no matter their status, no matter their costume, no matter their religion, their racial background, their sexual preferences, their age, their all long list of differentiations. These are things to enjoy, appreciate, celebrate, but not to value as higher or lower, or more, or less, or better, or worse. This is number three. And in the position that we have it this year, it really is each and every one. 21 is 3, and there's a 1, so equality to each and every one. And 3 is action, so there's a little challenge, yeah? How do we show that in our action and our behavior? Because 3 is to demonstrate. And it's small things. Number 1 is soul, and soul is humble thing. So it's not some big and grand, excessive public display, little things day by day, here and there, small details. Just the quality of your gaze, just a gentle smile behind your eyes. It can be little things. It's not, as indicated, some super exterior manifestation needed. Okay. But this affirmation is important, very important, because otherwise, if you don't do that, there's a gap. Number 2, sitting in between the 1 and the 3, there's a gap. And the soul and your positive mind will just be consumed into that gap. If you don't put the 3 and the 1 into relationship, I affirm soul within me, within each and every one. This is a very important thing. Okay. And don't be thinking, what should I do? What can I do? What will I do? Take away should, I have to, I must. Just day by day, in the little steps, what can I do now? What will I do now? And this is small, humble approach. Okay, and take away that tyranny of have to. And make it very local and very personal. 1, 2, and 3, which are all there, and 21 is very personal, very local. So your neighbors, your family, this is people close to you, showing that respect, showing this recognition of equality. And 1 is your spine as well, isn't it? 1 tongue, 1 spine. So even there, how you hold yourself, how you walk in the world, how you sit on the earth, on the ground, these little things actually also show that you are with your soul, that you're holding your center in yourself. Okay. Fire burning. What are you going to burn? What will you burn this year? And I don't just mean put something on a piece of paper and make some little ritual fire and put that paper in the fire, and you're welcome to do that. But no. Really, by the tapa, by the fire of your nadi, by the fire of your own digestion, burn out your shame, burn out your guilt, burn out your anger, burn out false understanding, burn out reactive patterns, burn out animosity to others or to yourself, burn out hopelessness. It's a lot of fire, but it's good fire. Fire is fire, it's going to be karmic, it's going to be dharma. Which kind of fire you're going to burn this year? You may light a little candle, put it on an altar somewhere, and let that represent what you're going to flame. What will you show? Because when you burn, it's not only something has turned to ashes, there's something shown, there's a flame. And flame is actually just flame. It doesn't matter actually. You're burning wood, you're burning paper, you're burning plastic, flame is flame. The smoke may show if there's toxic or not, but the flame is just a flame. Simple, clear, and pure. Number one, it's called the hidden treasure. I don't mean number one, although that soul is a hidden treasure, but the unit number of each year, 21, or the 2 of 22, 3 of 23, this is hidden treasure. But if it is ignored, it is actually the hidden sabotage. What is actually pulling the carpet out from under your feet and you're not aware of it? Because it's a hidden thing, okay? We write 21. Nobody thinks of the one. Just, it's 21. But hey, what about that one? It's a beginning. It's an impulse action. It's the capacity to take initiative, to stand up and volunteer. So that's an interesting reflection. What do I volunteer for this year? It's a different approach from saying my resolution of the year. Rather saying, look at that, see how that feels. I volunteer for that. 1 leads to the 3, means I will act, I will enact that. It shall happen. Yeah, so looking at that, volunteering. So to 1, it's a good time, some kind of restart, renewal. Don't misunderstand, and I'm not saying everything out there in the world and all the drama that's going on is suddenly going to be just brought to some even level and we all restart. Your restart. What is your restart for yourself? This is the question. We do have in our lives too many programs running, too many preoccupations, too many speculations, too much information coming in, too many stories to check out if I believe or not, too many people sending me videos of this, videos of that, little clips here, links to that, links to that. You should watch this YouTube video. You should watch this video. That. Wow. Tied up, caught up, entangled into everything. This combination of 1 and 2 and 3 and the 5, I'm either going to get more entangled or I want to renew. I want to come back to 1. I want to come back to simple. Stop all these plates spinning around in our mind. Some of my exterior operating systems have to be shut down, come to back to a humble, simple, uncomplicated position. Okay. So, although we're not talking, when we're saying that, come back to that, it's not about coming back to just a 0. 2020, 0, that was a 0 year. So we're not saying shut down and come to 0, but we are saying deconstruct some things and come to your solidarity, your singularity, your inner one. No more confusion, no more doubt. What am I? Why am I? How am I? Where am I? You are. Okay, there's a whole school of thought. There's no I, there's no self. And people come to that realization, but who comes to that realization? This is why it's a paradox. There's a self and there's no self. There's only the one big cosmic self. And yet you have an individual life, an individual body. To call it all illusion is an insult to the Creator. You are given an opportunity. Temporarily, it's a construct of the mental ego of personality, who I believe I am, deconstructs that to whatever extent your circumstances allow you to, but don't throw out the core, the essence, why you are given this individual life, to be an individual, to be one, to know the one. This is a very opportunity. Why throw it away? Why just, oh, there's no I? This is not why you put your name on your passport, why you have your name on your car insurance, why you have your name here and there. Yeah, it's all a theater. It is a theater. But there is an essence of self to enjoy the micro self, the individual, singular, and the relation to the cosmic singularity. And that is a mystery of so many spiritual paths, not the exterior dogma of any religion, but the deep inner sense that the small self can have a relationship to the all self. And this is a theme of 2021. You are part of the whole, be a part of. Circle is made of infinite dots, but each one is one. Each one of those infinite points is a point, and you are one of those points on the thread of the divine, we say. So, this is your number one, your soul contains your spiritual DNA, the soul's purpose to unfold in this lifetime like a seed potential. So it carries information about what you are doing here. And you access that information through kind of meditation. I don't mean something too formal, just keep working on come home, come home, come home, come back to self, come back to self. And don't let doubt. Doubt is a poison, doubt is a worm, doubt will go inside and eat you up from inside. Number three, positive. Number three, affirm. Affirm what? Affirm, I am soul. This can change a lot of things in your life. Even, okay, some people say, yeah, but I don't feel it. You know what? Forget that for a moment. Some days you feel it, some days you don't. Some days you know the sun is there, some days you don't. The moon shines one day, another day not. Does it mean the moon has gone, sun has gone? I don't feel the breeze, there's no air. That's not true, there's oxygen everywhere. So don't always be letting I don't feel it sabotage you. Remember we said one, if you ignore it, it's going to be the biggest saboteur in your life, or it's the treasure of your life. Whether I feel it or not. Soul is the case. Soul is the case. Soul is. And when you can hold on to that, you're going to stabilize yourself. And when you stabilize yourself, storms will come, storms will go, because that is coming. Okay. I think we can rest at this point. Don't ask about what's going on in the world. Don't be asking what is true, what is false out there. Only ask of you, what is my nature? Take at least that positive assumption, I have a basic nature. Let me come closer and closer and closer to that. So this is the work. You have one body, one spine, one tongue. Apply yourself, stand in your own shoes, use your tongue to serve and express your soul. So this is my prayer, that we build bridges, that we learn to exchange and change through the exchange, be willing to change, not try to change the other, but change through the exchange consciously. Let's develop more reconciliation through those bridges with each other, individually, collectively, communities. Let's harmonize. Vibration, number 5 is our vibration. Let's harmonize our vibration and let's radiate this harmonic vibration in the world. Let every soul, let the call of every soul be heard. Let it have a voice. Bless you. Satnam.